Assalamu alaikum, Ijaz.
Walaikum salam. Tufail, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah. All good.
It's been a couple of days since we last sat here.
Yep. Starting to warm up, which is great.
Ironically, on a day that was colder than last week. I think the other days have been proving a lot better.
But
A
yeah.
lot better. What are we chatting about today?
So today we're talking about national pride, South Africa, symbols, and what they are and maybe what they should be. So there's a lot. We were going through some of the items and we were like, seriously, this?
Yeah, there's a lot that just doesn't make sense. For example, the national bird is the blue crane.
Blue crane.
It should be the pigeons near Park Station.
It should.
I think you're more likely to encounter a pigeon, a Josie pigeon. A Josie pigeon, firstly, has a mind of its own. You could, like other birds, you like go near them and they get disturbed and then like fly away all dramatically. A Josie pigeon will look you dead in the eye and not move. And then if you try and shoo it for any reason, it'll call its prasa and come for you.
Yeah, so rather not. But now, if blue crane is the bird, and we have a national fish as well, which we
Yeah.
were not pleasantly surprised, but surprised to see, what's it called? The Khalyun.
Khalyun, yeah.
The Khalyun. Now, if something is a national pride, it should be in abundance wherever you go.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever seen one, nor tasted one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't just go to a restaurant or any of the fisheries and find a khalyun. It'll always be like, what's it, yellowtails or the silver fish or hake.
I
Snook,
would have
I
thought
think.
snook. I was going to say snook would have been the one because everyone knows about snook. But now the Khalyun. I wonder who chose these items.
So I think the khalyun was chosen because it only exists off the coast of South Africa.
Okay.
But I still don't see it representing us
Nope.
in any way. You know, like it. No one's made. I haven't. If you've, I could be wrong, but I don't think the fish and chips from like that we're accustomed to here. No one's ever used khalyun like
No.
using the national fish to make fish and chips over here.
Then there's the national bird. Oh no, before the national bird, the one that's on the coat of arms.
Yeah.
What's
yeah,
it called?
The
The
secretary bird.
The secretary bird. So does like our president Thabo. I was going to say Thabo Mbeki.
It's been a while, bro. It's been a while.
You can see you out of the politics game for quite some time. So, does our president like tell the secretary bird like, just hold my calls? I'm going for a round of golf.
He's the secretary bird like the school secretaries.
Yeah, it's weird. And we were talking about which bird. We said probably. Oh, we said
The
okay,
Josie pigeon.
the
That's
Josie pigeon, right? And
Josie
then
pigeon's a formidable bird. That
And you
bird
see
is
the-
tough, bro.
Yeah.
That bird is tough.
And then we've got the flower, the national flower, which is the
The
protea. So that one makes sense, right? Although when you think of proteas, you just think of a team of chokers sometimes. I mean, they went quite close this time around,
Yeah. Yeah.
but still.
I don't think we could change the national flower. Like, I can't think of anything that's very, maybe ace, I don't know.
Ace?
Snowflake?
Oh,
Sesko?
I get you. Took me a while, but I got there. National flower, okay. Those brands don't have parents; they self-raising, right?
Some of them. Yeah, I can't see. I think the protea makes sense. It is sort of, so I think that one can stay. But the bird we've got to look at changing. We're gonna start a
Look.
petition. As well as the fish. The fish should be snook.
Snook,
Or
yeah.
even sardines.
Sardines.
Yeah.
Durban guys will say shit. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, I think those two need to adjust. Also, I think Sister Bettina should be the anthem going forward.
I think at one of the sporting events, they mistakenly played it when it was time for the anthem. So maybe they should have taken the hint and just let it play.
Yeah.
And, it's the unofficial anthem, definitely.
Yeah, or in Kalagata.
Yeah.
One of those two. I think we should just pick one and
I feel like
go for it.
you hear Sister Bettina a bit more nowadays. So
Yeah, yeah. But also because it's a bit more classic, like it's a little older. So then, like, I don't know if it's like remembering a time when the lights were on, you know, like like a throwback to when we hit.
can't
electric.
remember those days actually.
It's so weird. Like one of the things about being proudly South African is that there's an entire generation born after 2008, 2009 that don't know what it's like to have a consistent supply of electricity.
We had a good run now. I think we had a week without
Yeah.
lights going, and then last night just out of the blue. And I just
Yeah.
remember my son was in his room and he's like, "That's so random. Like, why have the lights just gone?" And yeah, I can't
always
remember
always
that time.
get suspicious when the electricity supply has been too stable.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's weird when you think of the old days. You know, when you hear the stories of kids saying that they studied by candlelight,
Yeah.
and then my kid was in matric last year, and she was at times when the magneto lights gave up, had to light up a candle. It was just weird. You would never think, with this advancement of technology over time, that we would be sitting in last year 2023 sitting with a candle, studying, doing your homework. It's weird times we live in, bro.
It is, but I think a lot of people would complain about it. I mean, and they have a right to. You expect, a decent supply of electricity and paying for it and blah, 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 blah. But what it's done for us as South Africans, and this is the beauty of being proudly South African, I think we are far more prepared than a lot of people out there in different parts of the world. Like the sort of war-torn and battered areas aside, when it comes to first world, I think we can say, listen, we're ready for apocalypses and stuff. We know how to deal without water. We know how to deal without electricity, without service delivery, without transparent leadership.
It's like a training drill, but real life.
But we didn't sign up. We
We
just got
didn't.
enlisted,
No.
bro. Like,
Yeah.
here we are. But I think we're tougher, man. It's a lot of things as South Africans that they've made us tougher people.
That's for sure.
I mean, every day that you go out as a South African, you're dealing with a lot of moving parts that just make you far more stronger. I mean, if there's ever like a don't look at this contest, we've learned that from the robots. We've learned at robots that there are certain, you just don't make eye contact. For example,
That's probably South African, actually. You're talking about robots. It's
Yeah.
The worldwide, they would say traffic lights.
yeah,
You know, when people say, hey, the robots aren't working in South Africa, and we're like, do they have like AI
yeah.
machines at the intersections, or what's going on, when we
And-
say robots?
And we also probably like the exclusive nation to have a guy pretending to be a robot at the robot.
That's like Inception
Yeah.
of some sort.
Like a robot at the robots.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
And then the crate guys. Have you seen the crate
Yeah.
guys?
Yeah.
I see them here at your guys'
Yeah.
intersections and stuff. So that's becoming another thing.
But I mean, it's taught us, like, listen, there are days when, you don't have that extra couple of bucks to part with on you, that you've learned not to make eye contact.
Speaking
Like
of
you
not
just-
making eye contact to fail, how's the guys at the back of the buckies?
Yeah.
Wow, they stay into your soul. Like you can't even look away. You feel like this eye contact is more like a soul contact, because you're like
Yeah.
stuck for that while, and you're like, okay, who's gonna turn away first, kind
Yeah.
of thing, But they
Yeah.
will stay into your soul.
They know what you did last summer.
And the wait at the traffic light feels much longer somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. And the persistence, I think South Africans have a level of commitment to the cause and persistence that we see coming out in instances like that. I know this bargaining that happened, like even 20 cents.
Another thing that is probably South African, I think, is car guards. I don't think you see that anywhere else. Am I right?
I've not that I've experienced nor seen online. I think that's exclusive to us.
Because it's weird. I would love to know who was the first guy who decided, let me just give it a go. I'll just stand around here.
Yeah.
and wait for people to return to their vehicles and, ask
Yeah.
for a fee.
Yeah, I think that's it's good entrepreneurship if you ask me. It's kind of like
It's like a forced.
you're seeing a gap in the market. It's called ambush marketing,
Yeah,
and you
literally.
taking
They ambush you as you're jumping into your car. I look after nicely, boss.
yeah. And I mean, wherever you go, like even like some of the shopping complexes and stuff that perhaps have some form of it's boomed off or whatever. Somehow or the other, they still manage to infiltrate the system and provide you that extra needed assurance
Not so much needed,
of
but
an
yeah.
unarmed guy
Yeah.
looking after your vehicle, looking after tons of vehicles out there. The best is, there's some car guards. I mean, there's a lot of them that probably don't have like licenses and stuff, and they tell you how to drive.
And now with the advent of, the parking systems that are, part of your vehicle nowadays, letting you know how close you are to the nearest vehicle
Yeah,
or
yeah.
object, you're like, and they like staring into the screen, seeing, and the guy you see, it's like up, it's like, I know.
they haven't yet evolved. Like, okay, if your car parks itself, I will just stand here and watch.
Yeah, and then the other thing where they take on too much, and so you arrive at your vehicle and like, where's the guy? And then you start your vehicle, then he's stepping on your window.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
there. I was just around the corner. Like, no, you weren't.
It's on a side mission.
Side hustle, yeah. And then, there's that to and fro and that awkward, do I give him, do I not?
Next time.
Next time, then the guy's like, I'm not going to see you again. And you're coming with next time, yeah.
I won't lie, but I've met some champs of car guards, to be
Yeah.
honest. Some guys that will find a gap for you when there is no gap and get you in there, They look at you and be like, this guy needs to park here. I experienced it a lot actually in the CBD. There's a few areas that I visit in the CBD that are quite busier places. And there's one guy that him and I are like almost buds now. He knows that on some days I'll pitch up and he'll see me and he'll find a spot. There can be no spot. He will make sure I get a spot. Some dinkum dudes out there that are car guards. And then there are some on the darker side of... I think there's the... Wherever they're training, perhaps, there's probably like you can choose your house, like Gryffindor or Slytherin. Or there's a sorting yellow vest. And then that sort of just dictates what kind of car guard they're going to be.
Moving on to who I would say are the best ambassadors of South Africa. If you had to take a foreigner to a South African to show the best amongst us, I would say the petrol lieutenant would be the best ambassador for South Africans. I don't think I've ever come across a moody petrol lieutenant or one that is unhelpful. I mean, you can be going anywhere throughout the country and you'll be lost. And the guy will give you sometimes not the right directions, but directions nonetheless. He'll be helpful enough to say, take this, turn, and then you're lost and you're like swearing him in your mind. But, he tried.
What if that's the ploy? Like, they're so happy because they get a kick out of doing the most passive-aggressive
It's like,
things ever.
yeah, he's taking a wrong turn, haha, like,
Yeah. What if that's what keeps them going? It gives them a bit of a kick, like, he needs to find this place. I'm going to send him to another place.
Yeah.
But it's suspicious that you come to think of it, you're right. I can't recall in the recent past any negative experiences that I've had with petrol attendants. Why are you guys so happy? What are you on? Give me some of that.
Petrol fumes, probably.
It's also true. Like, I mean, you're just surrounded by copious amounts of fuel.
Yeah, that's
Constantly.
why
Keeps them going.
their moods are always like high octane,
Go well. You completed that sentence, didn't you?
Yeah, that's when you know marketing was good.
Yeah.
Like gluk. Is that before your time or?
No, I recall one of those.
Yep. So adding more fuel to the discussion. What else South African, or the pride of SA,
A lot of if we were to choose a mascot, like I know they tried with Sakumi and he was cool, and like I don't feel like he spoke to me. I think it should just be Faf du Plessis in his as he stands. Actually, from one of the insurance adverts in the trunks of SA, I think that should be our mascot.
You know, it took me a long while to warm up to Faf because I used to feel like his name. I felt he faffed a bit too much, you know, and it took a bit longer, but I realized that is part of his ploy and his game management in terms of frustrating the opposition.
Yeah.
Like you'll notice, like rugby players are huge, and there's always the biggest opposition player that is grabbing Faf and wants to, you know,
Yeah.
give him some of you know, the hardest shots he's ever punched a person. You can see the look in their eyes, and then, and the camera pans towards Faf, and then you see him and he's like laughing and he's smiling, you know. So he's like, I got you now, I've got under your skin. So I think that's his ploy as well.
Yeah,
Are
it's like taking a page out of the Lord of the Rings, basically.
How so?
If you think about it. How is two little guys from the Shire going off to achieve the most
Who's the other
mammoth
guy?
of tasks? I don't know. He's a
Colby's not too tall as well.
Lone of the Rings, Faf du Plessis. I would pay to see that, but I just don't know who would be Sauron. If Faf was Frodo.
Gandalf would obviously be Rassi.
Yeah.
Is Gandalf the White?
Yeah, we would have quite a cast if SA had to make its own debut Hollywood movie. If SA had to get into comic book stuff by just churning out superheroes, I mean, we've got a lot of celebs, politicians that we tap into for, you know, a lot of different roles.
Probably. And have we covered all thus far? So we've got the bird, got the fish, got the flower.
There are national symbols, Ijaz, that
Yeah.
I think don't even appear on the official. There's not a lot of national symbols. Like the animal's the bark, the springbok. Then it's the fish, then it's the flower, then it's the anthem.
National food would be what? Bani chow? No?
No, I think it would be chisanyama.
Chisenyama.
Yeah. For to translate for some of the other communities, it's chicken tikka, but slightly different. Yeah.
Localized.
Local. Yeah.
And Milano special, Eccles not counted.
No.
No.
I think that maybe
For me, though.
that would be like the Lanesian symbol, the suburban
probably.
symbol of Lanesia.
Yeah.
Nationally, though, I think Chisanyama has a good run. Or anything centered around pap, I think, would be mash and gravy, maybe.
To feel if you had to think, when the world looks at South Africa, what is it that you think they formulate in their minds? What is their perception of South Africa? I think mostly they picture like these lions roaming around and guys with their animal print just everywhere. And I don't think they know we actually like have Wi-Fi and, you know, like modern technology is the norm here. But I think, I don't know why it is this way, but I feel like that is how they perceive us. Is it because of the word Africa in our name, South Africa? That this notion that, you know, we are behind in terms of technology and all of these things. And then we heard that in Zambia, through Trevor Noah, how factual it is, I'm not sure, but that like escalators and stuff were
First.
like kind of new to those countries. Yet we as South Africa were probably the most technologically advanced in Africa. We still get painted with that same brush.
I don't know if that's if that's so true anymore. I think our parliament, shout out to you guys over there, has changed a lot of it because, I mean, there's so much of newsworthy content that comes out of our parliament nowadays under the genre comedy that I think people now have a changed perception of South Africa. I think I think nowadays, I think maybe 10 years ago that was quite accurate. People think like it's all just safari land. SA is just one big Kruger National Park. But I think now, I think people associate us with the most chilled, comedic, funny, laid back nation that's out there. I think they look at our parliament and think, no, these guys are they've really taken this comedy thing, quite.
Plus,
quite
it's
seriously.
improv. That makes it even more impressive. No scripts.
I think they associate us with the fine arts nowadays. I don't think it's. I don't know if it's the wildlife anymore. I think they all woke on that regard. I think they see us for something different nowadays. I think they see us for that. They see us now for gold. There's a part of the world that's seen us for diamonds as well. I think they just see us now as, listen, we can buy them. We can call our price and we can buy whatever we want out of that nation, kind of thing. I think recently that's how they sort of started seeing us. We become decent players, BRICS, all of these summits that have recently happened. I think the world's starting to take us a little more seriously.
Yeah, especially
Thankfully.
with the ICJ the case as well. So, we're seen as a world player as well.
Yeah.
So there are some good stuff that we are seen as. So that's great as well.
Yeah. I think the world's starting to take us seriously. I think we should take ourselves seriously. There's a lot of bad stuff going on. We should just laugh it off and
But that's the
continue.
problem, Tufil. Because we laugh everything off, we can't take ourselves seriously. I think that's one of the
Yeah.
challenges we face.
There's a lot of serious stuff happening. And it's going to happen whether we laugh about it or we're serious about it. Do what you can. And the rest just try and take with a pinch of salt and probably something strong off the top shelves.
Alrighty. So we leave it there for today. That's a wonderful discussion we had on South African symbols of South African pride. Some official, some not.
Some
yeah.
should be. Some should be.
Yeah, they should revisit that list again, I think.
Yeah.
All right. So this is where we say goodbye.